Imagine you are playing Stardew Valley with all your important stuff in the hotbar. You need to get to somewhere, but a patch of weeds is blocking your path. So naturally, you swing your sword to clear the way, and suddenly a mixed seed enters your inventory without your consent. At that moment, I turned into Flash just to delete that one mixed seed as fast as possible. But in this video, I am doing the exact opposite. I challenge myself to beat Stardew Valley using only mixed seeds. Hey everyone, my name is Extreme, and in this video, my goal is to find the true value of an item I have always ignored from the very beginning of my Stardew journey, which to be honest only started about 4 months ago. So yeah, I'm not exactly a veteran, but still I have committed to limiting myself to just this one item, and to make things even more intense, I have to beat the game within the first year. So if you're into chaotic, challenging gameplay, grab a snack, get comfy, and join me on this wild mixed seed only ride through Pelican Town. But before we jump into the gameplay, let's quickly go over the rules. The rules of this challenge are pretty simple. Rule 1, I can only grow crops using mixed seeds. No other crops, no fruits, no flowers. Rule 2, I can only earn gold by selling the crops I grow from mixed seeds or the artisan products made from those exact crops. The goal to beat Stardew Valley, which means restoring the community center. But if you know a little about mixed seeds, you already know that's kind of impossible. The pantry requires specific crops and you can't get all of them through mixed seeds. And finding those exact crops at the traveling merchant, yeah, you would need god tier luck. So for the first time in my entire Stardew career, I am going the Joja Corporation route, because hey, what better way to spice things up than by bringing a little capitalism into this peaceful valley. But how do we get mixed seeds? The two main ways are by tiling soil or cutting weeds. There are a few other methods too, which we'll talk about later in the video. Now when it comes to getting mixed seeds by cutting weeds, picking the right farm layout becomes a pretty big deal for this challenge, because some of them offer unique features along with more tiles that can help us collect more mixed seeds. Specifically, there are 3 maps that give us a bit of an edge, but of course all 3 of them come with their own set of drawbacks. The Wilderness Farm, where monsters can spawn at night, and 2 of them, the Wilderness Golem and the Iridium Golem, have a 50% chance of dropping mixed seed when defeated. But fighting monsters every single night after 8 PM, including day 1, sounds more like a nightmare than a farm. The Beach Farm, where you occasionally get supply crates that can drop mixed seeds, sounds promising until you remember you can't place sprinklers on the sand, and this map is mostly sand. So yeah, lastly, the Forest Farm. This one has a special type of weed found only here and in the top left corner of the 4 corners farm that has a 100% chance of dropping mixed seeds, which sounds awesome until you realize this farm has way fewer tiles, so fewer weeds spawn in general, and the number of these special weeds is also not a lot. That's why we're gonna pass on this one too. So what did I go with? After doing a bit of testing across the maps, I ended up choosing the standard farm. In my test runs, it gave me the most amount of fiber and mixed seeds on day 1. So I started by creating my character, named the farm Mixed Seeds, picked this cat and deleted all the parsnip seeds as soon as I got them. First things first, I started cutting down every weed I could find on the farm, hoping to get a decent amount of mixed seeds. And now is a good time to dive into how mixed seeds actually work. When you cut a weed, there's a 50% chance it will drop fiber. If it doesn't drop fiber, then there's a 5% chance it will drop a mixed seed. So yeah, the odds aren't great, which makes this challenge even trickier. And as if those odds weren't bad enough, I actually ended up with fewer mixed seeds than I got during my test run. I managed to plant a total of 13 mixed seeds on day 1. On the next day, I planned to search for more mixed seeds around the town and in the Cinder Sap forest, and I did exactly that. The results, a grand total of 6 mixed seeds. Yeah, pretty disappointing, I know. Instead of planting them right away, I decided to start storing my mixed seeds, and here's why. Introducing game plan number 1. Use fertilizer on every single mixed seed I plant. The goal is to boost crop quality and maximize profits. To make fertilizer, I need a ton of sap. To get a ton of sap, well, that means a lot of deforestation. Sorry, Mother Nature. So for the next few days, I focused on collecting wood, stone, and fish for food. Then came day 5, and with it, my first harvest. A few parsnips from those 13 mixed seeds. Not bad, but I didn't hit the farming level 1 yet, so I had to go ahead and plant the rest of the seeds I'd been holding on to. I sold all the parsnips, unlocked the community center and the mines, and just like that, the mining grind officially began. I reached floor 10 in the mines on the first day, no problem, and I had my first 210 golds of the run. run. So now that we've reached floor 10 in the mines, let's talk about game plan number 2. This one's all about getting mixed seeds from the mines. There are 2 ranges of floors that can spawn weeds, floor 11 to 29 and floor 91 to 109. I also saw in a few videos that floor 81 can be good for weeds too. And the cool part, these weeds regenerate when you leave the mine and come back. But first I needed to test which floors had the most weeds. So the next 2 days were spent doing exactly that. I started from floor 11 and worked my down to floor 30 and decided that floors 15 and 16 looked the most promising. On day 7 I also earned 400 gold from selling potatoes and finally hit farming level 1, which means I can craft fertilizers now. But while all that was going well, I noticed a problem with game plan 2. The weeds on floor 15 and 16 just weren't spawning equally every time, sometimes not even spawning a single weed. To prove it's a huge issue, I only got 6 mixed seeds on day 8 and 5 mixed seeds on day 9, and that's after spending the entire day repeating those same floors. So yeah, game plan 2 kinda flop, and I say kinda because I haven't tested the deeper floors yet, but for now I need to think of something else. On day 10 I focused purely on mining and made it down to floor 45, hoping the second half of the game plan 2 might still work out, but then reality hit. From floor 40 onwards, the rocks get way harder to break. The game clearly wants you to upgrade your pickaxe at this point, but I can't just go throwing my precious gold at a copper pickaxe, not yet anyway. And that's when I came up with game plan number 3. The idea is simple. Let's say this was a normal playthrough. You plant crops, earn gold from selling crops and buy seeds with that gold, but in this run I can't just go out and buy mixed seeds. And no, don't say Krobus on Thursdays, I can't afford to meet that guy right now. So how do we solve that? We make some of our mixed seeds count. Here's how. There are 3 specific crops I'm looking for: corn, hot pepper and eggplant. Why? Because they are all regrowable. You plant them once and they keep producing over time, and corn is even better because it lasts for both summer and fall. Hot pepper grow in summer and eggplants grow in fall. Basically, summer and fall gives you better long-term value from mixed seeds than spring does. So game plan 3 is to save up mixed seeds collected from the mines throughout the spring and plant them all in summer when the crops that grow from them are worth a little bit more. Alright, let's not stress this out just to show me collecting mixed seed from the mines every day. So from spring 11 to 27 I went full grind mode, and the results, I ended up with a total of 112 mixed seeds and over 2 full stacks of fiber. Here's a quick list of the important stuff I did, like how many mixed seeds I got each day, how much gold I earned from selling earlier crops, and so on. Feel free to pause the video and check it out if you're curious. Now I can finally say things are looking pretty great. We are definitely on the right track. Starting from the first day of summer, we'll get back to planting crops, and I have noticed weeds are growing again on the farm, which I think I'll leave untouched for summer or fall so they can multiply and give us even more mixed seeds. But remember, this was just the beginning. Before we dive into the next chapter, let me quickly introduce myself. Hey guys, Extreme here. I'm a 20-year-old boy and I just graduated from college. I love playing video games, and as you might have guessed from my broken accent, English isn't my first language, but I am doing my best to speak clearly, so if you catch a few mispronunciations, I hope you'll bear with me. This isn't my first YouTube channel, but it is my very first English one, and this is actually my first long form video, so subscribing would be a big help as I grow this channel. I'm still a little bit nervous about all this, but I would love to be a part of the Stardew Valley community, which honestly seems super wholesome and welcoming. So if you are enjoying the video so far, don't forget to drop a like and hit that subscribe button. Welcome to summer. I love how every season in Stardew Valley changes the vibe completely. Now we've got a few extra patches of weeds popping up around the farm. Summer started on a kinda dumb note. I spent the entire first day just setting up the crop area for quality sprinklers and planting everything. Yeah, I didn't even have time to water the crops. I definitely underestimated how many seeds I had. The next day I managed to water all the plants and set up a bunch of basic sprinklers to cover the most of the area. Also, an earthquake hit and the railroad opened up, so on day 3 I was able to cut down a ton of weeds by the tracks. And what did I get for all that effort? A grand total of 2 mixed seeds and a whole lot of disappointment. Since it's summer now, I also started getting mixed flower seeds, which I'm not allowed to plant, but the seed itself isn't really a problem, because if a weed doesn't drop either a fiber or mixed seed, then there's a 5% chance it drops mixed flower seeds, so not a cut from the chance of getting mixed seeds. Now let's talk about the next strategy, game plan 4. In short, the plan is to use artisan equipment equipments to boost the selling price of the crops we grow. There are two key machines that can help with this, the preserve jar and the keg. We can't really use kegs yet, the recipe requires farming level 8 and right now I am sitting at a solid level 2, but for preserve jar we only need farming level 4, which is actually doable. In the meantime, I have also started collecting oak resin from trees to prep for kegs in the future, but for now preserve jar are going to carry this part of the plan. Oh, and side note, this plan kind of kills the game plan 1 because once you start using artisan equipment, crop quality doesn't matter anymore, so no need for fertilizer if we are going to jar everything. Anyway, time to gather a bunch of resources so I can start crafting as many preserve jar as possible. So I spent the next 3 days grinding out resources. The most expensive part, 8 coal per jar. That's a whole lot of ingots I am not smelting. A fairy also showed up and made some of my crops grow early, which was a nice little bonus from the Stardew gods. On day 7, I hit farming level 3. It was a thunderstorm kind of day, and since I didn't have a lightning rod recipe yet, I just slept early. I wasn't about to let lightning turn my summer crops into popcorn. The next day, I leveled up again and finally unlocked the preserve jar. And have you ever seen this? You can literally see a water bubble fishing spot through the bridge. It looked kinda cursed. On day 9, I crafted 14 jars and started pickling radishes like my life depended on it, which honestly, it kinda does. Day 10 hit 20 jars, but I also may have lost track of time, passed out on my farm and paid a 300 gold nap fee. Summer earnings minus 300 gold. Truly thriving. At this point, I decided to stop crafting more preserve jars. They are just way too gold hungry. Next up are kegs. I have already got all the materials, but I need farming level 8, so we wait. In the meantime, I'm waiting for the next big move, game plan 5. So the game plan 5 is green rain. Yeah, just green rain, that's the plan. We wait for it to rain green, the valley gets flooded with weeds, and I cross my fingers for more than just 2 mixed seeds this time. The next few days, I kept chipping away at the mines and made it to floor 70. I also set up some lightning rods for the upcoming storms, collected my first few pickles, and hit level 5 in farming. And I have made a decision, I'm going to sell all the artisan products at the end of the month. That way we'll get a clear idea of how much progress we have actually made. On day 15, the green rain finally happened. I spent the entire day cutting weeds like a madman, and just look at this run to my pet. I was this close to passing out on the floor. I don't even know how I made it in time. And here's the result of the rain-fueled wheat massacre. 746 fiber, 257 moss, and 34 mixed seeds. Not bad, but not exactly groundbreaking either. Still way better than a normal day. Also, I'm not gonna plant the mixed seeds right now. If they turn into hot peppers, it kind of a waste this late into the season, so I'm gonna save them. Yeah, it will delay my farming level a bit, but we are playing the long game here. That same day, I went to check the help wanted board and accidentally walked into PA's shop, my arch nemesis. He is selling everything I am not allowed to buy, but don't worry, my buddy showed up and stole all his customer by bribing them with discounts. Yeah, capitalism wins. Okay, I'm done. Please don't support Joja on your first run. This is for research purposes only. Seriously, most of my days followed the same rhythm. Woods, mines, mixed seeds, making pickles, repeat. On day 19, I hit farming level 6 and completed my first help wanted task because I was looking for some prize tickets. As for why, on the third prize you will get 10 mixed seeds, and there's another reason too, but we'll get to that later. And no, I'm not claiming any gold from those quests. I'm staying loyal to the challenge. Day 20, I found the legendary garbage hat and I was way too excited about it. The next day, I got my first prize ticket quest, kill 5 lava crabs. Yeah, not an easy task considering they spawn from floor 81 and I had just barely reached floor 80 with my default pickaxe, which was basically solving every time it hit a rock, but I tried anyway and died. Lost 300 gold in the process. Turns out lava slimes hit hard, and here's the best part. After I died, I noticed I had 2 farm totems on me. I could have escaped, but no, I'm dumb. Also, shout out to Demetrius for giving me such a ridiculously difficult quest for just a prize ticket. I'm definitely giving up on that. Meanwhile, on day 23, I gave Linus an earth crystal and he handed me a prize ticket. Yeah, an earth crystal. Take notes, Demetrius. On day 25, I hit farming level 7, and by the way, floor 81 is actually a great place for mixed seeds, but if you haven't unlocked it yet, floor 21 is a decent alternative. The overall summer grind was mostly the same grind as spring, except now I was also gathering resources to build a lot of kegs. Yeah, time to start a Keg Empire. So let's skip to day 28, the final day of summer. It was a great season overall, and I'm really gonna miss the pepper plants. Today is their last day on the farm, and even though I lost 600 gold earlier, I was definitely gonna recover it by selling everything I'd saved up. Here's what we had: 60 hot pepper jellies, 56 pickled corn, 20 pickled radishes, and a bunch of crops I'm still holding on to until I can turn them into artisan goods. episodes. So the question you have been all waiting for, how much did we earn in summer? The answer is 20,800 gold. Let's go! Okay, I know it's not huge, especially since we need 140k for Joja, but I've been prepping for kegs all season. So yeah, decent earnings now, but the foundation is set. Fall is when production really begins. Fall has arrived. I started the season by clearing some space, planting the usual mixed seeds around the leftover summer corn, and immediately spent the profits from summer 28 to upgrade my axe. We've got some hardwood business coming up, and no, I'm not using the chair skipping trick. Next big move, I bit the bullet and joined Joja. That's 5,000 gold down the drain, but hey, it had to be done. Need more 135k gold to spend on Joja now. The plan for the season was straightforward, keep farming and grinding for mixed seeds until I hit farming level 8 so I could finally unlock the almighty keg. Day 2 started off sweet, literally. I got a letter from mom with some cookies, very wholesome, but then she followed it up with 500 gold in the next letter. Mom, no, this is a challenge run, I can't accept handouts. So I restarted the day and never opened my mailbox again. I did keep the cookies though. The community center was officially replaced by Joja's warehouse. I wonder how. It also happened to be Penny's birthday and she posted a help wanted quest 2. Perfect timing. I finished her quest and gave her a diamond, taking her from 2 hearts straight to 5 in one go. And yeah, I know some folks in the Stardew community aren't big fans of Penny, but I think she's sweet. I don't think her intentions are as bad as people make them out to be, but hey, everybody has their own opinions and I respect that. Day 3 picked up my shiny new copper axe and also snagged the price ticket hidden behind the bookstall. Then came the season's first big goal, repairing the greenhouse. Why? Well, crops don't grow outside in winter obviously, but also completing the greenhouse unlocks a whole bunch of raccoon related stuff, including the raccoon journal, which I can only start after fixing the giant stump and the greenhouse. There's a whole lot of complications along that path. We'll break it all down later. On day 4, I helped George with the quest and claimed the 3rd prize ticket and finally got rewarded with the 10 mixed seeds. The next several days settled into a familiar loop, expanding the farm, planting mixed seeds, refilling kegs, and descending into the mines for more mixed seeds. By day 9, it finally happened. I hit farming level 8, which meant Keg Empire time. Day 10 was a big one. I crafted 84 kegs and filled them with leftover hot peppers. Sounds smart, right? Wrong. Hot peppers make wine and wine takes 7 days to finish. Also, hot peppers aren't vegetables. I swear I've been counting them as veggies my entire life. What I should have done was use actual vegetables, which becomes juice in just 4 days. That early mistake slowed everything down a little bit, but let me share some behind the scene artisan logic. Certain veggies are better in kegs, others in jars. Some pickles sells for more than the same veggies juice and vice versa. I had more kegs than jars, so quantity mattered too. Corn, for example, sells better pickled than juice, but if I've got a tons of corn sitting in a chest, I'll still use it in kegs just to keep things moving, and it's still way better than selling the basic crop itself. My current plan, turn all veggies into juice except for corn and hot peppers. Corn's going into jars, though I might toss some into kegs too since I've got so much of it. Hot peppers, they will go in the kegs last, they take the longest to process. Also, fun fact, wheat's a great cake crop. It turns into beer in just 1 day. Hope I didn't bore you with the crop economics. Let's keep going. Day 12 added 18 more kegs. Day 13 added another 6. By day 14, the total had climbed to 108 kegs. Also on day 14, I wrapped up a fishing special order and grabbed another prize ticket. Good day. The next day, I accepted Linus's special order to clean up the valley by fishing out 20 pieces of trash. Naturally, I helped the valley by cleaning my own pond instead. It was practically a landfill, and when I heard the quest completion sound, I thought I was done. So to clear my inventory, I deleted all the trash. Yeah, you already know where this is going. I was supposed to place the trash in the railroad bin. Guess I'll go ahead and dump my brain in there instead. Honestly, this might be karma for cleaning up my pond instead of the valley. Day 16 was the Stardew Valley fair. I just needed the prize ticket from the shop, so I spent a little gold fishing to earn a few points and skipped the startup entirely as it will cost me more, and honestly, I don't need it right now. Also, on the same day, my hot pepper wines were finally ready. I loaded up the kegs again with whatever vegetables I had lying around in my chest. The next day, I finished Linus's quest properly this time and got the prize ticket. Now that it's done, I can finally work toward the next prize, 4 preserves jars, which I really need. I also decided to sell all the artisan products I had stocked up because I needed gold fast to fix the greenhouse. Why the rush? I will explain in a minute. I sold 101 pickled corn, 84 hot pepper wine, 30 beer and 19 hot pepper jelly. Total earnings 33,700 gold, which is pretty awesome, way better than I expected. With that money in my pocket, Demetria showed up in the next morning, I was torn between mushrooms and fruit bats. The mushroom cave gives you a free dehydrator, which might come in handy, but fruits, I might need those as well in the future. I ended up choosing the fruit bats. Some of the vegetable juices were also ready, so I sold them to Pierre. Honestly, I probably should have kept them, not sure what I was thinking there. Next, I headed straight to Joja Mart and ordered the greenhouse repair. I also gave Penny a star drop tea because priorities. Meanwhile, I'd never stop collecting mixed seeds in the mines. Soon after, the greenhouse was complete and the little raccoon ran off. So now's a good time to explain why I was in such a hurry to unlock it. Here's how greenhouse works with mixed seeds. The crop it grows depend on whatever season you are currently in. So if it's fall and you plant mixed seeds inside the greenhouse, you will get fall crops just like planting them outdoors. But winter has no native crops. So in the greenhouse, mixed seeds can grow into anything from spring, summer or fall. And by anything, I mean the specific crops that mixed seeds can normally grow during those 3 seasons, not every single crop in the game, which sounds great, but that kind of randomness means the chance of getting regrowable crops is much lower. That's why my goal for the rest of the season is simple: grind for as many mixed seeds as I can and plant them in the greenhouse before winter hits. Also, since the greenhouse only has 120 tiles, I've got to use quality sprinklers, no room for waste, and that's exactly what I did. Over the next few days, I kept grinding in the mines for mixed seeds while managing my pickles and juice production, and started setting up the quality sprinklers in the greenhouse, all while patiently waiting for my farming skill to hit level 10 so I can grab the artisan profession, which makes all the artisan products I sell 40% more profitable. On day 21, I barely escaped death in the mines. Fortunately, this time I actually remembered to use the farm totem. The next day, I accepted Clint's special order to slay 50 bats. It was a bit of a grind, but I was collecting mixed seeds in the mines anyway, so I just did both for the next few days. Also, I had to start putting my corn in the kegs since I didn't have any other vegetables left at that point, except for hot peppers, which I am still saving for last. On the night of day 24, an explosion happened, and the next day I found an iridium meteorite had landed on my farm, which is kinda useless to me right now. On day 27, after 5 days of grinding, I finally completed the bat slaying quest, but I couldn't claim the prize ticket that day because it was Spirit Eve, so I just picked up the golden pumpkin and dumped it in my chest. Didn't really have any use for it, and with that came the last day of fall, which was a little sad honestly. All of my outdoor crops, the entire field I worked so hard on, would disappear the next day, but I think it was worth it. I still have a ton of veggies stored in my chest, and I really believe the value I'll get from them will make up for it all. On the other hand, I still didn't reach level 10 in farming, so for now I'm gonna hold on to all of my artisan products. I think I'm really close, and I don't want to sell anything without that sweet 40% bonus. Before wrapping up fall, I managed to fill the greenhouse this much. As you can see, it's not fully packed, but it's not bad either. I think I can definitely work with this, especially with all the festivals I've still got stashed away. So let's end the season here, but trust me, the artisan boost is coming, and when it hits, let's just say the next season is gonna be golden. Winter is here, but you know what's not? Yeah, my plants. All gone overnight. So I did what any rational farmer would do, grabbed my leftover basic sprinklers and set them up in the greenhouse very professionally. I didn't have any major plans for winter yet. I had a few ideas bouncing around in my head, but honestly, I was just itching to sell my stockpile of artisan products. On day 1, I planted 15 mixed seeds in the greenhouse. Getting those seeds wasn't that hard, but it started to wear me down. Repeating the same routine for every day was pushing my limits, so I skipped the next couple days, and on day 4, it finally happened. Level 10 farming, and I can't even describe how happy I was. Of course, I chose the artisan profession. On day 5, it was time. I sold everything I stocked up: 216 eggplant juice, 108 pickled corn, 97 corn juice, 58 artichoke juice, 25 pumpkin juice, and 14 radish juice. And guess what? I still had a bunch of crops left in my chest. I went to bed with my fingers crossed, and I got a total of 137,016 gold. I was truly speechless. I swear I didn't expect it to be that much. And just like that, our mission to earn gold from mixed seeds was finally over. Now I'll be honest, I didn't plan to finish this challenge in winter. I said in the intro that I'd complete it within a year, but that was a little marketing trick. It wasn't pre-planned, and now that we are here, I wanted to be honest about it. I had a bunch of future plans lined up. For example, the giant stump, still intact for some reason. I was collecting 100 pieces of hardwood for that. I wanted to complete the first 2 raccoon quests and unlock the raccoon journal, which boosts the chances of getting mixed seeds from 5% to 9%. That also required 2 things, a fish smoker and a dehydrator, and that's why I was grinding price ticket quests. Both items have a 50% chance of showing up as the 12th reward in the price ticket pool. It's either a dehydrator or a fish smoker in the 12th price. Also, I chose the fruit cave because raccoons need dried fruit. I was thinking way ahead, but who would have thought the challenge would end like this? I guess I grinded too hard, but honestly, I'm proud of it. The challenge wasn't super difficult, but it was mentally exhausting. Doing the same task day after day just to gather mixed seeds definitely wore me out, but seeing all that effort pay off in the end, totally worth it. So I hope you enjoyed my first ever Stardew Valley challenge run, and I'll end this video on one final note. Mixed Seeds loves me. How can I pronounce STS? Quests. What is quests? What is boosts? Boosts. Quests. Boosts. Requests. How can anyone pronounce STS in a proper way? Like it's unpronounceable. And I don't even know unpronounceable is a word or not.